Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday, guys. Want to say hey to all my subscribers. New as well this season, I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Wednesday, guys. So on the recording this morning, if you guys heard it, I stated that I would be uploading a recording shortly after on this topic, but I got busy. My sincere apologies. So I'm here really quickly to upload this message in regards to downloads I receive in regards to the narcissist regrets mishandling you. Now, of course, that's not a word that you typically hear when you hear the word narcissist. Regret does not fit in that equation. However, I will explain next. I want to talk about the wrath that the evil ones are experiencing or will experience. All right, let's start there as a matter of fact. So when I'm speaking about these evil folks, I'm speaking about these folks who intentionally hurt, harm, manipulate, use, abuse, etc. The chosen ones, but not limited to the chosen ones, but just people in general. These are these people with that selfish mindset who are out here moving in these streets from a place of manipulation, heartlessness, etc. Right? These are the people that look like they've gotten away with things for a very long time. These are the people that you may know, and it seems like all the evil they've done, why does it seem like they're still getting ahead? Why does it seem like their life is still moving forward? Well, that time has come to an end. This shift, again, is about good versus evil. The evil people that you know, even if you have not heard about their downfall, you will hear about it, or you may not hear about it, but just know that it's happening. These are the individual also that God have had personal one-on-one time with, where he's been trying to be patient, right? Meaning that could be an example of maybe they have hit a wilderness season before, a season of wrath before, and God have truly tried to help and work with them, because maybe they could have came from like a certain background, or maybe experience immense levels of trauma. So God is a very understanding God. Truly, he's a very understanding God, so he will take that all into consideration. But then a time will come where he starts to work with you and work on you to help you to transform from that mindset. But then you have some people who refuse, right? These are prideful people. These are people that just whatever, they want to do things their way. And within that process, they have hurt a lot of people along the way. Get ready. You're going to start to really hear about and see, not always necessarily, because again, sometimes God don't allow us to see everything. And let's be clear here, this is not something you want to rejoice in. Truly, this is not something you want to rejoice in. In fact, God doesn't even rejoice per se, but ultimately it's about sometimes having to snatch that rug and have to really sit people down. Sadly, sometimes people have to really go through a difficult seasons in order to truly understand that their way will no longer work, and that this mindset is just hurting and harming, right? So God will potentially use it to transform. Again, many times he's had people in these kind of seasons and they refuse. So now you're going to have to experience the wrath of God. Those seasons like that are no joke. Those seasons like that are no joke. But how else can he get your attention? He's tried. He's sent people to help you. He's sent you convictions. He's had you in dry seasons before. You refuse to learn. So now you have to learn. Now you have to learn. Chosen ones, this is not the time to be intervening into what God is doing, because these hearts of ours, right? When you see people that God is really dealing with them, and he tells you, keep your hands free, move out of the way. Move out of the way. Some people, God is just going to have to deal with the way he deals with them without needing interference of chosen one with these big hearts. Sadly, sometimes these are the very same people that you've helped the most, and yet you're having a hard time letting God do what God. Let God deal with people. They're heartless and cruel when it comes to you. You don't have that in return, because that's not just who you are. But keep your hands free. Trust and believe that when God is finished with them, it may just help them to transform the very character that you've been longing for them to have. That's between them and God. That has nothing to do with you. Keep your hands free. Let's talk about the narcissist in regards to them regretting dropping you. Now, I'm not trying to dismiss individuals who may have experienced narc abuse just maybe for, you know, a couple of years or a couple of months or so, or just was a relationship and the person is a liar, the cheater, manipulator. Again, that's not always narcissism, if you will. That can just be a person's character. But I'm speaking more so less right now in the download. I'm speaking more so less about the people who have had narc parents, narc siblings, or the people who may have raised you. These are the individuals where the narc had access to you very early on. These are the individuals where there's a great chance that the narc truly changed the blueprint of your destiny, if you will, at some point. I mean, you're now back on course, right? These are the individuals that the narc truly tried to take you out. So I'm not speaking anything about a little broken heart, respectfully, a broken heart from like a relationship because the person is a liar. No, we're talking about the demonic spirit of a true narcissist. The demonic spirit of a true narcissist. These people really, really wanted you gone. These people really, really did damage to your life. These people really tortured you for years and years and years and years. In fact, they're still sitting there flying monkeys. They're still doing what narcs do. This shift, again, you can tie them in with the beginning of the recording with just evil folks in general, who are afflicting chosen ones or God's people, and individuals who are out here moving in alignment with purpose and calling, and you're interrupting God's assignment, right? You can tie the narcissist in with them as well. But the narcissist's whole mindset was to interrupt your life so much that it would change the blueprint, change the trajectory of your path, that you would never make it to this point where you currently are, chosen ones. Tapped into your purpose and your calling. Tapped in with seasons of abundance and seasons of acceleration of fruits of all sorts. Tap into seasons where you are attracting everything that God has for you and always wanted you to have. Okay, so here's the thing. Remember, again, the narcissist's whole idea was to keep you from ever even reaching this point. You're here. So now they're realizing that no matter what they did, no matter how much they tortured you, no matter how much they bullied you, no matter how much they lied on you, no matter how much they manipulated you, no matter how much they had everyone turn against you, they now realize that nothing they did kept you from reaching this point. They now realize that even though they're behind fake accounts and sending you messages, that you're no longer triggered. They now realize that when they send flying monkeys, you no longer respond. They know this. Where before, they're so used to love bombing. They're so used to triggering you and having you to respond, where they open you back up to this web, and now they have supply from you that may last months and months and months and months until they trigger you again. So they're realizing now that there is nothing they can do that's going to bring you back. There is nothing they can do that's going to give them a new supply from you. They realize that they leave you alone, they go and find a new supply. That new supply can't give them what you could. That new supply is recognizing them for the spirit they are early on and walking away. They're now torturing other people. They're now torturing other family members. They're now torturing other flying monkeys. Everyone is finally on to their game. This is why now flying monkeys are returning. This is why now you're hearing other people who couldn't understand what you were saying. They're now saying, oh my goodness, now I understand exactly what you were talking about. Because now they're experiencing the side of the narc that you couldn't get them to understand. So the narc knows at this point that you're gone, never to return. Where before, they were okay with allowing you to go on because they know at some point they could trigger you and they get a supply. They know at some point they can send a flying monkey, you respond, and you're back and forth with the web. Because they now know there's absolutely nothing they can do. They regret mishandling you. Because ultimately, again, they wanted to destroy your destiny. They couldn't. Now you are in destiny. They want to be a part. They couldn't destroy it. They want to be a part of it. And now they lost out on both sides. They couldn't destroy it, nor could they be a part of it. Now they have to sit back and watch the very same people that they use against you admire you. They now have to understand that the very people that they lied to you about and turned against you are now turned against them. They have to sit back and watch you rise. They have to sit back and watch how God have blessed your life. They have to sit back and understand that what they thought was power and manipulation to control and dominate you, all of that has now turned on them. So the very thing that they wanted for your life is the very thing now that they have to live. And because you're chosen and because your heart is set up a certain kind of way, you don't want revenge. You just want to be left alone. But now there's a supernatural grace that has to come upon you where even when they're creating fake emails and they're tagging you in all kind of group messages, things like that, there's a grace where you don't even want to respond. You don't have to respond because you've already won. You've already won. So now the narc regrets handling you because they cannot be a part of your destiny. It's your girl, Jizzy Rock.